and welcome back everyone to the video series dating show on MTV that is going through a lot of mixed emotions right meow. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 38 Ride or Dies Episode 3, and let's just start off where last episode left off, and that was TJ having a twist, wanting to get friendly in this game, and calls out for Jordan to join him in the zone, and then he calls out for Jordan's partner to join them as well, and that is Aneesa. Now, there's a lot of mixed emotions happening right at the beginning of this episode because you have Jordan coming in, wanting to compete. He hasn't competed on the main series of the challenge since season 35, and he's ready to kick some butt. However, his ex, Tori, is in the game, and that's bringing up a lot of emotions that maybe he hasn't felt in quite a while back up to the surface. And the same with Tori. When seeing Jordan's face, she is absolutely shocked. And then seeing Aneesa coming into the game, she's like on cloud nine. She's excited. So she's doing this roller coaster of emotions in the matter of minutes, maybe even seconds. And then Aneesa comes in and she's partnered up with Jordan and best friends with Tori. So she knows that that's going to be a whole thing to deal with as everybody is getting ready to go back to the challenge house. And we wake up the next morning and we see people getting up, working out, doing their morning routines, and we get some camera time for Tommy and Annalise. Alarm bells are ringing off that they're either winning into power or being sent into elimination. My instant thought was, well, they're going into elimination. Then we have a confessional from Horacio, who is ecstatic to still be in the game, to have won their first elimination. However, he's worried. He's worried that that's going to paint a target on their backs, and you know what? He's not wrong, because we jump to a conversation between Bananas and Jordan, and Bananas says, I'm very excited to have you in the game, Jordan, kind of like with Devin and Bananas in last episode. And now we have Bananas telling Jordan that he's excited that Jordan is in the game because he gives him the lowdown of what's going on in this house, that there are a rookie alliance, that there's a rookie threesome that is very strong with each other, and the vets need to stick together. And Jordan is saying, yeah, okay. Then we get some couples counseling between Raven and Johnny via Dr. Nerese. And Johnny feels like there's no problem between them. That's probably the problem in itself, is Johnny is just oblivious to something that's not dealing really with him. He's not feeling these emotions that Raven is feeling. He's just like, oh, we're in the game. I'm going to do what makes me feel good. I'm not going to even think about my partner or be there for her. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. And Raven's just gonna have to deal with it while Raven is dealing with all these other emotions. Dude, that is your ride or die. That's the person you brought onto the show. And it sounds like Johnny is just leaving her high and dry. Then we get a conversation between Tori and Aneesa, and they're talking about what kind of emotions Tori is going through at this moment with Jordan being in the game, what's happening. Tori is talking about her process and everything that went on. We get a confessional saying that she hooked up with Fessy 2 months after Jordan and her had split, that she knew it broke Jordan's heart that she moved on that quickly after the whole situation, and she did add a spite, which is not good for the whole situation, and she feels really bad, but she knows that she has grown quite a bit, because if she wasn't in the spot mentally and emotionally that she is in right now, she wouldn't be able to handle this situation with Jordan coming into the game. And then we move on to Casey and Faysal talking in the gym, and they're talking about Faysal moving from his name being Fessy on the show to now representing his actual birth given name in Faysal. He wants to represent his culture. It means the decision maker, and he wants to be the decision maker in the game. He doesn't mind if other people in the house call him Fessy, but he wants to represent here and go by Faysal on his uniform and in the lower thirds. And then we hear of all the canoodling Faysal is doing in the game. He's cuddling up with Michelle, and then he's cuddling up with Laurel, and he's also talking to Annalise and having hot tub time with Colleen, and Messy Fessy is not going away. But after all of that, which was a lot, we finally move on to this week's daily challenge called Build Me Up. This game will be run in 2 heats. They're going to have to transport 6 barrels to 3 different stations where they're going to have to stack all the barrels up, hit a button, and then move them to the next station. Do that 3 times, and then be the first to cross the finish line in your heat. The overall quickest duo to finish up this daily challenge will win into power, win ultimate power and safety, and everyone else will be in the hot seat. in Heat 1. We have Casey and Kenny, Colleen and Kim, Mariah and Faysal, Tommy and Annalise, Nerese and Nelson, Tori and Devin, Jay and Michelle. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this daily challenge. Again, simple yet effective. We understand what they're trying to go for in this daily challenge. They're trying out for strength, they're testing out for endurance, they're testing out on teamwork and communication. In my opinion, it was so effective that we got to see where these teams lie in the strength department, in the endurance department, and how they compete against each other in the players that were in the heats. Faysal and Mariah were super strong in this daily challenge. They were going super quickly through the whole thing. I think they were always in first place. They never gave up first place. Nelson and Nerese were in second place, but ultimately it comes down to Faysal and Mariah winning Heat 1 in a relatively quick time. Now, Heat 2, there was only 6 pairs racing against each other with Raven and Johnny, Nani and Bananas, Amber and Chauncey, Laurel and Jack, Olivia and Horacio, and Aneesa and Jordan. Now, with only 6 teams, your chances of winning goes up. However, this is a stacked heat. This heat has so many champs in it. You have Bananas, Amber, Laurel, Jordan, and then you have the 2 rookie teams who outshined all of them. I mean, we had Johnny and Raven, Olivia and Horacio neck and neck the whole time, swapping out first and second places through the different checkpoints and stations. They were crushing it. I was so impressed by both of these teams. One, you had Tommy and Annalise absolutely getting decimated in the first heat, and they were blaming their size, that they were really, really short. But if you look over there, I don't think Johnny and Raven are that much bigger than Tommy and Annalise, yet here they are, probably in better shape, better endurance, and they're killing it. They're crushing it. They were in first and second place until the very end, where they were able to get all their barrels across the finish line, winning Heat 2. It is Faysal and Mariah who are able to pull out this win. And Faysal, this episode, is going to have to put his namesake to the test by being a decision maker. We move back to the challenge house, where Tommy and Annalise are frustrated with their performance in the daily challenge and really their performance in the season overall. They don't want to be looked at as weak, but ultimately their size and their performances so far kind of say otherwise. We get to the deliberation where Faysal and Mariah are talking, and Mariah is really close with a lot of the rookie teams. Faysal is also a roommate to some of the rookie teams like Kim and Colleen, but Faysal doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. So he's not looking at any of the vet teams. He's not looking at really any of the vets. He's just looking solely at the rookies. He's thinking Johnny and Raven. All the vets want them out, and they were already put up by Bananas and Nani last episode. The same thing with Olivia and Horacio. And Colleen and Kim was also nominated in the draw in the first episode, so why not put them in? And also Tommy and Annalise. They are big brother numbers, but they're not doing anything in the game. So if we put them in, it's no harm, no foul, realistically. However, they all call Faysal out for kind of taking the safe road, you know? You got Colleen saying, like, I understand why you nominated all of us, but you kind of went the safe route. Then you have Olivia questioning Faysal's decision making, because why wouldn't you want to take a shot at a stronger team, a more threatening team to your personal game, instead of possibly bringing on a rookie team to bolster your own personal numbers in the game? Now, Tommy, at first, once seeing the boards, was frustrated that Faysal put them up because, hey, we are big brother numbers. But once in the interrogation, that's when Tommy wants to strike up a deal with Faysal. We're gonna have to see if that plays out, because Tommy and Annalise do some snaky stuff later on in this episode that maybe makes their word look like trash. And finally, Johnny and Raven come into interrogation, and I felt Johnny was coming in quite hot. I mean, I loved it. I loved Johnny being like, what could you do for us that when we come back into the house and we get into power again, that we don't say y'all's name and put you guys into the nominations? I thought that was pretty bold, but from the game standpoint, I just knew, like, y'all are going in. Like, they're gonna nominate y'all to go in. We move to the club scene, where it's not the club, it is a brewery, and we have quite a bit going on. We have Colleen, Kim, Annalise, and Tommy talking, trying to strike up a 4-person deal, trying to keep each other safe and maybe working with each other for the rest of the game. And I thought that this was a really good decision on Tommy and Annalise's part. And then we move to outside the club, where Tommy and Annalise strike up the same exact deal with Olivia and Horacio. Now, I thought Horacio caught Tommy and Annalise because he even mentioned, I saw y'all talking across the bar with Colleen and Kim, and Tommy and Annalise were like, yeah, we talked to them, but we didn't promise them anything. And I thought, oh, you just caught them in a lie. But both Olivia and Horacio, in the confessionals leading up to the elimination, believed Tommy and Annalise 100% on this. I could not believe that they completely trusted them. Maybe because they were roommates and they felt really close with them. Now, coming into this episode, from what we saw in the promos and the trailers, I thought we were going to see the most friction between Jordan and Tori. However, that wasn't the case. Jordan and Tori actually talked with each other and cried things out, hugged it out, and they really didn't have a confrontation at all, despite the trailer having Tori yelling at Jordan, "You're the liar." That was not shown on the episode whatsoever. Instead, it was a nice moment of understanding. They shed some tears with each other. They hugged it out. The most anger that we saw in this bar scene was between Johnny and Raven. Now, we haven't really seen Johnny and Raven butt heads at all this episode. Honestly, I mean, we knew that the emotions for Raven wanting to be more with Johnny was bubbling underneath the surface, but we really haven't seen anything to give us that Raven is now mad at Johnny. There must have been something cut out. There must have been something said to Raven that Johnny was wanting to go directly into the elimination or wants to nominate himself to go into elimination or something to that effect. But Raven is pissed with Johnny. She hates the way that he's played the game with her, that he's not supportive as a partner at all, and she is just done with him. Johnny feels like he's done with all the drama. It just, Johnny, maybe it's you, maybe it's you. You're saying you're tired of the drama, yet it seems to follow you. So I think the common denominator from all your shows and all the drama building up with you, it might be you, dude. We move back to the challenge house where Faysal is talking to Colleen and Kim and telling them that he's not going to say their name to send them directly into the elimination. They just got to get ready for the dagger pull, and if they get it, who they're going to keep safe. Colleen mentions that she finds Fessy super attractive, so get ready. They're going to make out in a coming episode, I'm sure. Now, with that being said, let's move on to this week's elimination where everybody meets up with TJ at the zone. TJ then calls the 4 nominated pairs to join him on the zone floor, where then he turns the attention over to Fessy and Mariah, telling them to pick one of the 4 to go directly into the elimination, which they say Johnny and Raven. We gather around for the draw. Colleen and Kim pull the first dagger, which was blank. Then Tommy and Annalise pull the second dagger, which is safe. They're excited at first, and then they realize, uh-oh, we have to backstab somebody. And they decide that they're going to send in Olivia and Horacio into the elimination, saving Colleen and Kim. And Olivia and Horacio are upset. Here they are being backstabbed and having to go into elimination against their best friend and alliance members. In this week's elimination called Double Decker, a hall brawl variance where 2 people will be fighting it out on the bottom level and then 2 people fighting it out on the top level. On the bottom floor, 2 players are going to be running to get to that bar and then push it to your opponent's side. If you can push the bar to your opponent's side, your partner's door up at the top will open for a head start, a 1-second head start, where it gives them a better positioning to then win the second round. You have to win the top floor to get the full point. Best 2 out of 3 wins this elimination. This elimination was top notch. I loved this elimination. This was so good. I loved the way that this was put together. Horacio and Johnny are going at it round 1, and Horacio is able to win against Johnny, opening up Olivia's door first, getting that positioning where Raven then is just trying to hold on for her life. She's coming out of her shoes up at the top level, which isn't good for leverage, and Olivia is able to win round 1. Now in round 2, everybody switches positionings where Olivia and Raven are at the bottom and Horacio and Johnny are up at the top, and Olivia is able to win against Raven at the bottom as Raven is falling out of her shoes yet again. I do want to mention, I looked at the starting positions and Raven looked like she was trying to hold up her foot down in the sand. I wonder if she hurt herself in the first round and she didn't want to put a lot of pressure on her foot. And once I saw that, I was like, uh-oh, that's not a good sign for Johnny and Raven to ultimately win this, because the women are going to have to be up at the top if they go to a round 3. So I was keeping my eye on that. I was really nervous for Johnny and Raven. Olivia was able to beat out Raven down at the bottom, giving Horacio a head start over Johnny, where I thought Horacio had this in the bag. He was like inches away from winning, but somehow Johnny was able to put his feet down, stick him down, have a great stance, get some leverage, and just push Horacio all the way back and win round 2, taking this to sudden death, taking this to a round 3. Round 3, though, just utter dominance by Olivia and Horacio. As TJ blows that horn, Johnny is stumbling out the gates, where Horacio is able to grab the bar, run it all the way down. I honestly thought that Johnny was going to get clotheslined by this bar by Horacio, but he was able to get up, try to fend him off a little bit before ultimately losing to Horacio down at the bottom floor. Olivia's door opens. She just runs at this bar full force, where Raven kind of gets 2 steps out of her door and is just dominated. She gets destroyed by Olivia, easily takes this bar for a ride to Loserville, and Olivia and Horacio are able to win this elimination 2-1. Super competitive elimination. Really fun to watch. I really enjoyed this Hall Brawl variance. This was so good. This was such a great elimination win for Olivia and Horacio. Yes, they were going against competitors that were smaller than them, but I thought that they were equally matched, and I was very impressed. Now, in last episode, you could say like, oh, Horacio and Olivia got a lot of help. This was all them. This was all them, and they were able to win. This was super impressive. Johnny and Raven are eliminated from the game. Olivia and Horacio are able to stay in this game, and that's when TJ is telling everybody to always be expecting the unexpected. No, that's a different show. But TJ is saying, like, don't trust anybody, including me. He's joking around that there could be another team coming into the game, and then he's like, no, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm not. Yeah, I am. No, I'm not. And that's when he calls out for the next 2 players who are joining this game to join the game, and we don't get to see them at the end of this episode, but we all know who it is. I mean, we've seen the Ready to Ride launch special. We saw the trailer. We saw the cast photos. We know that Darrell and Veronica are joining this game. They're going to be the last of TJ's Super 6 twist to join into the game, but that is where this episode ends. What did you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What did you think about Jordan and Tori and all those emotions going on in the game? What did you think about Tommy and Annalise promising 2 teams in the draw safety and then having to pick between one of them? Do you think that was a smart decision ultimately, or do you think that is going to be a bad decision that's going to haunt them for the rest of the game? Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think about Faysal's decision of the 4 teams that he nominated? What do you think about the double-decker elimination? And what do you think about Olivia and Horacio winning? What do you think about the elimination? And are you sad to see Johnny and Raven leaving the game? Let me know anything and everything you thought about this episode down in the comment section below. I really enjoyed this episode. I think this season is starting off with a bang. 3 for 3. I love this season so far. This is really, really fun. But that is it for this video. I want to give a special shout out. Thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/AngelCakeVids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge 38 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.